Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. We offer our salutations to Ramana, who shines as the self in all beings, and begin today's Saturday Satsang with the prayer by Srimati Sapna Ganesh that will be followed by the chanting of the Muktaka trayam by Kumari Revathi Sankar.
दक्षिणामूर्तिसारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमां रमणाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये आङ्गिकं भुवनं यस्य वाचिकं सर्ववाङ्मयम् आहार्यं चन्द्रतारादि तं नमः सात्विकं शिवम् ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय. Namo Ramana to everyone.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Ekamaksharam Hridi Nirantaram Bhasate Swayam Likhyate Katham Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram Hyaham Aham Iti Sakshat Atmarupena Bhati Hridi Vishamanasa Swam Chinvata Majatava Pavana Chalana Rodha Atmanishto Bhavatvam Deham Mrinmaya Vajjadatmakam Aham Buddhirna Tasyastyato Naham Tattadabhava Supti Samaye Siddhatma Sadbhavataha Oham Bhavayutah Uto Varadhiya Drishkvatmanishtatmana Soham Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam Soham Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. In this next part of the satsang, we have the chanting of a few verses of Upadesa Saram by Kumari Uma Sripathy.
Namo Ramana. Vayurodhana liyate mana jalapakshiva drodha sadhanam chittavayava chitkriya shakayordvayi shakti mulaka laya vinashane ubhayarodhane layagatam punarbhavati nomritam प्राणबन्धना लीनमानसम् एकचिन्तना नाशमेत्यद नष्टमानसो उत्कृष्टयोगिना कृत्यमस्ति किं स्वस्थितिं यत दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मना चित्वदर्शनं तत्त्वदर्शनं मानसं तु किं मार्गणे कृते नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात् वृत्तयस्त्वहं वृत्तिमाश्रिताः वृत्तयो मनो विद्यहं मन अहमयं कुतो भवति चिन्वत ऐपतत्यहं निजविचारणम् अहमिनाशभाज्यहमहं तया स्फुरति हृत्स्वयं परमपूर्णस नमो रमण.
Namo Ramana. We have an offering of a few Ramananjali Sangeetam songs that will be done by Dr. Pratibha Sundaresh, followed by Savitri Krishnan and Jaisriram Krishnan, and the last Ramananjali song presentation will be by Revathi Sankar.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. This is a Kannada composition by Sri N. Shastri. Music by Rajkumar Bharati. सकल ग्रह बल नीने रमण निखिल हृदयने नमो नमो सकल ग्रह बल नीने रमण निखिल हृदयने नमो नमो सकल ग्रह बल नीने रमण सकल शास्त्रಗಳ ಸಾರ ಬೋಧಿಸಿದ सकल ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳ ಸಾರ ಬೋಧಿಸಿದ सकल ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳ ಸಾರ ಬೋಧಿಸಿದ ಅಕಳಂಕ महिमने नमो नमो सकल शास्त्रಗಳ ಸಾರ ಬೋಧಿಸಿದ ಅಕಳಂಕ महिमने नमो नमो सकल ग्रह बल नीने रमण निखिल हृदयने नमो नमो सकल ग्रह बल नीने रमण ನಾನಾರ್ಯಂಬುದ ತಿಳಿಸಲು ಬಂದಿಹ ಮಾನವರೂಪಿ ಅರುಣಾಚಲನಾಗಿಹ ನಾನಾರ್ಯಂಬುದ ತಿಳಿಸಲು ಬಂದಿಹ ಮಾನವರೂಪಿ ಅರುಣಾಚಲನಾಗಿಹ ನಾನಾ ಪರಿಯಲಿ ಪಾಲಿಪ ನಿನಗೆ नमो नमो श्री वेंकटेश्वर नमो नमो श्री नारायण नमो नमो श्री वेंकटेश्वर नमो नमो श्री नारायण नमो नमो श्री वेंकटेश्वर नमो नमो श्री नारायण नमो नमो श्री वेंकटेश्वर नमो नमो सकल ग्रह बल नीने रमण नमो रमण
रमणाय 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 नमो रमणाय 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 नमो रमणाय 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 नमो रमणाय 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 नमो परिशुद्ध ज्ञान निधयाद गुरुवे पाद के मुड़ी पाही नन्नन्ते कोडुवे रमणाय 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 नमो रमणाय 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 नमो रमणाय नमः भवदूर मंत्र ज्ञानिं हम्मन् तुडुवन्त्र रमणाय 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 नमः रमणाय 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 नमो शिवरूपी तत्त्वज्ञ कोण्डैव बलमो भवदासेगळ सुडुव श्रीकल्पतरुवो रमणाय 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 नमो 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 रमणाय नमो रमणाय नमो ओम नमो भगवते श्री रमणाय
Namo Ramana. Today being Kannada Rajyotsava, the day when Mother Karnataka got her freedom. Let us remember some of the poets who have contributed in the Karnataka, this motherland. And so many have written poems, prose on the life and teachings of Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. It may be Putina, who has composed about 20 songs and which we have put together as the life of Bhagavan Ramana and presented it as the Ramana Prabha dance drama. And from that, Puthi Narsimhachar has written wonderful many songs where we have chosen the Arati song Namo 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 Ramana Sadashiva Prabhavarana Namo Maharshi. And Bhagavan himself, Puti Narasimhachar has said, he himself has come in his dream saying that this set of poems have come out very well. Meaning he was having a doubt whether it would be presentable, but Bhagavan assured him that it has come from the self and not from the Putina, the individual Putina. Likewise, there is R.N. Jayagopal who has translated so many songs of Muruganar Swami, Sadhvam Swami, and many other poets who have written on Bhagavan. And we also have Professor Dr. N.S. Lakshmi Narayana Bhatta, who has translated so many, almost all poems of Bhagavan, including the Aksharamanamalai to Kannada. So, and Sri A.R. Natarajan's role in this has been very great because he has brought Ramana to the Kannada land by giving us so many songs, so many books, giving us the Ramana shrine here in Bangalore. It has been the Bengaluru Arunachala, as many people call. It has been built in the form of Arunachala, where till date we go around the shrine like we go around Arunachala, the mountain. Today I will be presenting a song written by Professor Dodrangegowda, Dr. Dodrangegowda, where he has written a few songs and Ramananjali has sung all these songs in the folk style, in the Karnataka folk style. Beautiful 10 songs have been written in the local Kannada language where there is the fragrance of the motherland of Kannada. It's very beautiful because it has been set in the folk language as well as the music for it has been set in the folk tradition. Here, Dr. Dodrangegowda says, "Come, let us celebrate Ramana. Come, let us sing and dance Ramana's life. He was born in Tiruchuri and made that place so popular by just being there. And from there, he went to Tiruvannamalai, making that his own place. Being born for Sundaramayyar and Alagammal, this young child, from his birth, gave light to so many people, including the blind lady who assisted in the delivery when Bhagavan was born. And then, so many, if you see Bhagavan's life, from his young age itself, he has helped so many people without even having the thought that he is helping. It may be the small boy who cut his finger and Bhagavan band-aided that finger, or Rangan who came to Bhagavan and although he didn't have anything, Bhagavan provided Rangan with a luxurious life where he could afford so many things after coming to Bhagavan, and he got a job where whatever Rangan wanted, Bhagavan provided that to Rangan. Or it may be Alagammal herself, where Bhagavan gave her the ultimate state. Or it may be Cow Lakshmi, Jackie the dog, Malli the deer, or the blessed crow. He is like the full moon in a dark night, where all our troubles are taken away, because we get back to that source. Although the moon is just like the mind, Bhagavan takes us back to remind us that the darkness is just another side of the sun. So if we just turn within, there is no darkness. There is only the light of the sun. It is just that we have to pay attention to that light. It is just that we have to turn within, and we will be in that state. Presenting to you Kondadiro Chenda Kondadiro by Professor Dotrangegoda. ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರು ರಾಮಣ್ಣನ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ತಿರುವಣ್ಣಾಮಲೆಯಾಗೆ ನೆಲೆಯಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ನೆಮ್ಮದಿ ಬದುಕ್ನಾಗೆ ಮನಸೆಳೆದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ತಿರುವಣ್ಣಾಮಲೆಯಾಗೆ ನೆಲೆಯಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ನೆಮ್ಮದಿ ಬದುಕ್ನಾಗೆ ಮನಸೆಳೆದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಮಗುವಂಥನಾಗೆ ಯಾಗೆ ಜಗಗೆದ್ದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಮಗುವಂಥನಾಗೆ ಯಾಗೆ ಜಗಗೆದ್ದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಸಿರಿಯರುಣಗಿರಿಯಾಗೆ ಬೆಳಕಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರು ರಾಮಣ್ಣನ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಅಳಗಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಯ ಮಗನಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ನಡೆನುಡಿಯ ಪರಂಜಿ ಅನಿಸಿದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಅಳಗಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಯ ಮಗನಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ನಡೆನುಡಿಯ ಪರಂಜಿ ಅನಿಸಿದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ತಿಂಗಳ ಬೆಳಕಂತೆ ಚಲುವಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ತಿಂಗಳ ಬೆಳಕಂತೆ ಚಲುವಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಧರ್ಮದ ಜ್ಯೋತಿಯ ಬೆಳಗಿದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರು ರಾಮಣ್ಣನ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ತಿರುಚೂಳಿ ಮಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಬೆಲೆ ತಂದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಜಗದಗಲ ಮೂಗಿಲಗಲ ಹೆಸರಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ತಿರುಚೂಳಿ ಮಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಬೆಲೆ ತಂದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಜಗದಗಲ ಮೂಗಿಲಗಲ ಹೆಸರಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಬಡವರ ಬದುಕಿಗೆ ನೆರವಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಬಡವರ ಬದುಕಿಗೆ ನೆರವಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಕತ್ತಲ ಹಾದಿಗೆ ಕಣ್ಣಾದ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರು ರಾಮಣ್ಣನ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರು ರಾಮಣ್ಣನ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ ಚಂದ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಿರೋ. ನಮೋ ರಮಣ.
Namo Ramana. We move on to the part of the satsang where we will have the practice of self-enquiry that will be guided by Shri Dileep Simha ji.
Namo Ramana. ध्यायेत् शारदचन्द्रसुन्दरमुखम् ताम्रारविन्देक्षणम् भक्ताभीष्टवराभयप्रदकरम् कौपीनमात्रोज्ज्वलम् स्वात्मानन्दरसानुभूतिविवशम् सर्वानवद्याङ्गकम् श्रीमन्तं श्रीरमणीश्वरं गुरुवरं योगासनाध्यासितं ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणीश्वरं ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणीश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणीश्वरम् हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहमहमिति साक्षातात्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वतामज्जतव पवनचलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम्. Namo Ramana. We will commence the Atma Vicharam by listening to Bhagavan's Upadesham and meditating on it, followed by the practice of self-enquiry. Today I will be reading his Upadesham from the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. And the talk is talk number 210. Man owes his movements to another power, whereas he thinks that he does everything himself. Just like a lame man bluffing that were he helped to stand up, he would fight and chase away the enemy. Action is impelled by desire. Desire arises only after the rise of the ego, and this ego owes its origin to a higher power on which its existence depends. It cannot remain apart. Why then prattle, I do, I act, or I function? A self-realized being cannot help benefiting the world. His very existence is the highest good. This strong belief in us that we can do something, even when we reach out to the spiritual life, this sense of belief that we can do something and change something, and is such a strong belief that grasps us not only in the worldly life but also in the life when we enter the spirituality. And the spiritual journey is no different. And here, Bhagavan is saying that this is the stamp of the ego. This is how the ego functions. As soon as this ego is believed to be oneself, there is no escape in our belief that we can do something or we can know and do something. That would be a kind of a strong inherent belief in us. That is what Bhagavan is saying. And therefore, he asks us to question that. To whom is this? Who am I? Only in that real enquiry. Who is this guy who is rising and claiming, or who has a very strong belief that he can do something, he can know something? When we read a book or when we listen or when we participate in a satsang, whether we sit down for meditation, there is we sit or we read or we do with a sense of a doership, with a very strong sense of knowership. We believe that we can start and we can reach another side where we will be a transformed being or a transformed person or an individual with some effort. That strong sense we need to. It is not a real set of words. It's a very strong belief in us. Whether we sit for meditation or we read a book, this will be the basis on which we will be doing so. And Bhagavan calls this belief or this strong sense as a lame, bluffing person. A lame man essentially is one who cannot even walk, and one who, however, bluffs that he can do something. He can go and achieve something. So he is asking us to question that belief within us. Whenever it rises, he's asking us not to yield to that belief. He's asking us to question it. Is it really possible for me in this belief to, if I follow this, is it possible? Whatever I am trying to achieve, is it possible? And we will sooner or later realize that even if I sit for meditation or sit for reading of a book, I have absolutely no control where the next attention moves or where what the next thing happens. Though I may sit with a very strong belief, I find myself to be sooner or later moved away from that belief into believing into something new that has popped up. Because with this belief, or with this strong belief, what are we putting that belief in, at the attention of that belief on something objective outside? Either it could be meditation, whether it could be reading a book in the spiritual life, or materialistically on some object. And whenever this attention is outward turned, one thing is certain that we have found, that everything is transcendental. Everything comes and keeps going in the outside. There is no firmament. And that's why Bhagavan calls it as a lame person bluffing to do something here. So when we understand that nothing is permanent and we are betting on it, and when we really question to whom is this, who am I, then we see that there is something which is truly existing, truly aware of all the things that are coming and going. And that true existence and that true awareness is the only unchanging thing in the midst of all that, this is all that is constantly changing. It seems to be the anchor, the screen on which everything comes and goes, yet nothing affects it. So that is why Bhagavan says that inquire every time something says, I can do, I can act, or I can function. Truly, with the spirit, ask, who is this I who claims it? And in that very question, we find that I, that we are believing to be a constant, who can do, who can know, is in reality nothing but that higher power, which is the true existence, which is the true awareness, but in it, there is no such claim of being able to do, act, or anything. It is. That truth simply is. And therefore, this whole idea of ability to do, act, function is all just an imaginary thing of this lame ego, which in reality is not present. And Bhagavan reveals the truth through our deep sleep experience every day. When this ego is not there, there is no need to act. There is no such jugglery that we need to play with. So by inquiring every time, to whom is this, who am I, Bhagavan brings that conscious sleep. He makes us recognize consciously that if we can sleep to all that is happening here and now, then that self, which is ever present, ever shining, is the only thing which is there, effortlessly there, naturally there. That is the very nature. And by making us get back to that truth here and now, Bhagavan says that it is the grace of that higher power which has come in the form of inquiry to move us from the imaginary to that which alone is. Therefore, by being in that higher power, Bhagavan concludes that self-realized being is the only benefit to the world. His very existence is the highest good, not in the act of doing something, knowing something that which we believe that we can do something good. Bhagavan is saying it is returning back to our real nature at every moment, or staying in that truth, is the real help that we can provide to the world and provide the highest good. So Bhagavan, with his abundant grace and love, has given us this Atma Vichara. Whenever the Loka Vichara creeps up because of the association, long-standing belief in this ego, which makes us believe that we can know, we can do, Bhagavan, by putting the inquiry or by reminding of this belief, by inquiring to whom is this, who am I, by his grace makes us turn our attention away from this belief, and by the very act of inquiring takes us back to that ever-present truth of ours, here and now. And by repeated practice, Bhagavan assures that one will recognize that the natural self, the natural truth, is so effortlessly present at every moment, and we had simply forgotten it and were kind of hypnotized in believing that all that which comes and goes is real. By this inquiry, we are turned again and again to that ever-present truth, and by staying there, we start to understand that that is the real Atma, the self of everything. And being there is the best help that can be given, because all derive its existence from this existence only. And by being that very existence, that is the greatest help that one can provide. That is the highest good that one can do. Bhagwan's immense grace for the next 10 minutes, no matter how many thoughts come, no matter what is the nature of those thoughts, whether they are good, bad, ugly, or spiritual, they are all to somebody who is paying attention to it for something to know or something to do. By diligently inquiring, to whom is this? Who am I? We should turn the attention away from that belief back to the one which enables us to see all that we are, visualizing, imagining that very self by inquiring, who am I? Bhagwan's immense grace. For the next 10 minutes, let us practice Atma Vichara. Om Namo Bhagavate Ramanam. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang with a sharing by Venkatesh Deshpande ji.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhanaktu Sahaviram Karvavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jnanamulam Gurur Bhakti Pujamulam Gurur Padam Mantramulam Vakyam Mokshamulam Guru Mokshamulam Guru. We're doing Manana on Atma Bodha. In the last satsang, we did Manana on verse number 60. We'll do a quick recap of that. Realize that to be Brahman, which is neither subtle nor gross, neither short nor long, which has no birth or change, which is without form, quality, color, and name. Language is useful only to describe the terrestrial world. It fails when it is employed to express the transcendental reality. The terrestrial world is expressible because it has quality, function, and qualification and relationship. Brahman does not have any of these properties. It therefore eludes direct description or conception. Even in the terrestrial realm, language becomes ineffective when it is used to describe subtler themes. For example, it is easy to describe perceived objects, difficult to express feelings and emotions, still more difficult to explain intellectual concepts. Hence, the transcendental reality, which is subtler than the subtlest, is indirectly indicated in the scriptures through the process of negation. Brahman is also indicated as having no birth or change. It is perishable. It is the perishable essence of all perishable substances of the world. Perishable substances have properties like name, form, color, etc. They have a beginning and an end. They undergo a series of changes. Brahman is not a substance. It has no properties. It is the imperishable substratum upon which the perishable objects and beings manifest themselves. We continue to do Manana on verse number 61. I request Sapna to kindly chant the same please for us.
Yes, sir. Namo Ramana. Yadbhasa bhasyate kadi
भास्यैर्यत्तु न भास्यते येन सर्वमिदं भाति तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत् यद्भासा भास्यतेऽर्कादि भास्यैर्यत्तु न भास्यते येन सर्वमिदं भाति तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sapna. Realize that to be Brahman, by whose light the sun, etc., are illumined, but which is not illumined by those luminaries, and by which all this is illumined. The language of negation describes the Brahman is likely to create a dark and gloomy impression of the Brahman. This verse removes such an impression and helps you to conceive the resplendent glory of reality. The universe consists of many bright and brilliant luminaries like the sun, moon, and stars. You see their brilliance. You are conscious of these luminaries. The pure consciousness in you illumines them. By the virtue of consciousness being the illuminator of all lights, it is considered to be more brilliant than all the luminaries. The Bhagavad Gita in chapter 13, verse 17 describes consciousness as the light of lights. Jyotisham api jyotihi. Consciousness is the primordial source of all lights. All luminaries derive their light from that supreme source, but none of them can illuminate it. Consciousness can also be described as that by which all is illumined. All this refers to the world of perceptions, emotions, and thoughts. Consciousness is the illuminator of perceptions in the senses, of emotions in the mind, and thoughts in the intellect. Without consciousness functioning through the body, mind, and intellect, none of these experiences is possible. Consciousness is therefore said to be the illuminator of all experiences. The consciousness is related to this world in the same way as the waker's mind is related to the dream world. The waker's mind illumines the sun, moon, and the stars appearing in the dream world, since all these luminaries have no existence apart from the mind. But however brilliant the light of all these luminaries of the dream world would be, it cannot illumine the waker's mind. Also, the waker's mind is considered as the illuminator of all experiences in the dream. These dream experiences, however, cannot help the dreamer to conceive the waker's mind. Similarly, all the experiences in the waking state of consciousness no doubt emanate from Brahman, but none of them can illumine or experience Brahman. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. Thank you, Venkatesh Deshpande ji. In this part of the satsang, we have been meditating on the verses written by Bhagavan Ramana, Arunachala-Navamanimalai, the 9 garland necklace of gems, which are 9 in number. In the first verse, Bhagavan Ramana says, Achalane ayinum achabaitanil achalayam ammai yediradum achala uruvil achakti ஒடுங்கிட ஓங்குன் அருணாச்சலம் என்று அறி ಅಚಲನೆ ಆದರೂ ಚಿತ್ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಚಲ ಶಿವನು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಎದುರಿಗೆ ಆಡಿ ಅಚಲ ರೂಪದಿ ಆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಡಗಲು ಬೆಳಗುವುದು ಅರುಣಾಚಲವೇ ಎಂದು ಅರಿ. For those who think that the Shiva who is dancing is different from that Shiva in Arunachala who is ever still, Ramana reminds us that it is the same power which dances, which seems to be dancing in Chidambaram, and the same power here at Arunachala which is ever still. Ramana refers to this dance of Nataraja as the dance of stillness. Dance but stillness seems to be very, very contrast to each other. But he describes the dance as that dance of stillness. When we see the Nataraja Murti, we feel that, oh, Nataraja is simply giving a pose and somebody has taken a photograph and made it into a beautiful Murti. But if you look closer into the aspects of the Nataraja, you see that it is not a pose, a still pose which has been captured. It is a pose in a cosmic dance, in vibrant, dynamic dance. You can see that his hair is all flying up in the air. And the dupatta that he is tying onto his waist, it is also flying high because the Shiva is dancing his dynamic dance. And if you see a little more closer, the snake, which is usually a necklace around Shiva, it is moved away from the Shiva and it is holding on to the neck of Shiva, that I am not able to bear this movement of Shiva, and as if the snake is holding on to the Shiva in that movement, just like in the roller coaster road, how we hold on to the handle in an amusement park. So this snake is having an amusement park experience on Shiva that is holding on to him. And in the Ramanashramam, I noticed this beautiful detail where usually the Ganga and the flower, Kondrai flower, which is usually seen on the top on the jata of Shiva, due to that vibrant dance, they have moved down. And you can see that one side of the hair you have Ganga, and the other side you have that Kondrai flower, which is seen in that matted hair. It has come down from its original position. It has come down to the matted hairs. So such is the vibrance of Nataraja. Although he still seems to be still, but the Murti itself is the capturing of that dynamic dance. In Aksharamanamalai, Ramana talks about Arunachala too. In many works he writes, we think that Arunachala is an insentient hill. It seems to be only made up of rocks and boulders and mud and trees and grass and herbs growing on it. But it is not an insentient hill. It is the magnetic hill. And காந்தம் இரும்பும் போல் கவர்ந்தனை விடாமல் கலந்திடோனிருப்பாய் அருணாச்சலா. It is the magnet mountain which draws the devotees and it draws the jnanis and it has attracted them, and many of the jnanis have settled down at Arunachala and they're all abiding in Arunachala. We know that there is Ramana's life. We have heard of great saints like Sheshadri Swamigal, Ram Surat Kumar, Ashram, and all these great Siddhas and Jnanis. They're all drawn to Arunachala. Now when we see that Arunachala is ever crowded on the Paurnami days, lakhs of people go to Arunachala, and when we see that in Kartikai Deepam time, many lakhs of people are seen in Arunachala, they are all drawn to that magnetic power. So it is simply sitting, it looks insentient. But Ramana reminds us, do not think that is very insentient. It is actually the heart which is emanating and drawing all the people towards it, and that is the dance of Nataraja. The Nataraja whose dance represents the Shrishti, Sthiti, Laya, which is the creation, sustenance and destruction. With that, the two more activities of the divine is seen. One is the Thirodhana, the Shiva in his beautiful dance as this world, as the various situations that we have in our lives, in our life story, he is creating this Maya, Thirodhana. But he is also ever available with his Anugraha, the grace. And Ramana says, grace alone is. Grace is in the beginning, grace is in the middle, and grace is in the end. It seems to be it is the dance of Maya, but it is actually the dance of grace. This reminds me of one Tiruvambavai written by Muruganar Swami, which has been set to Bhava Priya Raga by Srimati Sulochana Natarajan, which speaks about, you see, if the cloud seems to be dense, and the sky is looking grey, like Maya, like illusion, don't be afraid. It is not Maya. It is the water which has evaporated from the Satchit Sukha Sagara, which is Ramana, Apara Satchit Sukha Vari Rashe. From that Satchit Sukha Sagara, from that ocean of grace, the water has evaporated and it has become clouds. And the clouds are all moved to a place, and when they have become very dense, it is about to rain. And what is going to rain? It is going to rain. There is going to be a rain of grace. So do not worry. That Ramana has come to even melt our stone-like hearts with his lightning-like glance. And he has come to teach us the truth with the silence, which is like thunder. We see that, what is this? Thunder and silence. And we have lightning like compassionate glance. Seems to be opposites, but that's how we can explain that experience which is inexplicable. So the poets have taken liberty to explain that this great dance of Nataraja is the dance of stillness. Even in the Ashtakam, Ramana reiterates this point. Idaya manraham achalama nadamidum aruna malayenum yelayarum aruloli kadale. Idaya manraham achalama nadamidum aruna malayenum yelayarum aruloli kadale. Idaya manraham is the assembly, the hall or the theatre of the heart. Achalama nadamidum, dancing without moving, dancing while being still. Aruna Malai Yenum, known as Aruna Malai, Yelai Arum, boundless, bounds breaking, Yelai Arum, Aruloli Kadale, the ocean of grace, radiance. Arunachala is the ocean of grace. It looks like a mountain, but it is actually the ocean of grace. Karuna Purna Sudhabde, says Bhagavan in the Pancharatnam. So that the Karuna Purna Sudhabde is actually dancing the dance of stillness in the heart. And how do we experience this dance of stillness in the heart? Ramana explains in the earlier part of the verse. I will read the translation which is given by G. Kameshwar Ji. If I thought, which is the first thought, does not arise, then naught else arise. If the I thought, which is the first of thoughts, does not arise, then naught else arise. Nothing else arises. Nothing else even exists. Until that I thought has not perished, whenever other thoughts arise, if one inquires, for whom is this thought? The answer would be, for me. Until that I thought has not perished, whenever other thoughts arise, if one inquires, for whom is this thought? The answer would be, for me. By searching out the place of origin from where this I arise, merge there. By searching out the place of origin from where this I arises, merge there. If in this manner you dive deep within and attain the royal throne of the heart, you shall become the sovereign Lord Almighty, whose matchless shade of grace governs all creations. Ramana says, if in this manner you dive deep within and attain the royal throne, the Simhasana of the heart, you shall become the sovereign Lord Almighty. You will become the Lord for the whole universe, whose matchless shade of grace governs all creation. Then vanishes the dream of duality of inside, outside, deeds good and bad, birth, death, happiness, sorrow, darkness, light. When you abide yourself in that throne called the heart, then all these duality which creates only conflict and confusion, like the good deed, bad deed, inside, outside, birth, death, happiness, sorrow, darkness, light, everything disappears, vanishes. That is a dream which just vanishes as soon as you wake up. Oh, boundless ocean of grace and effulgence called Arunachala, dancing motionless within the theatre of heart. Then we realize, what is this dance? This dance which is ever still, but which is ever moving. When we see Ramana's life, we see that he was ever in silence. But it is not that he was in silence. He was answering questions, he was doing work in the kitchen, and he was binding books, he was reading newspaper, he was replying for the letters, he was proof checking. So all these activity he was doing, but he was doing this abiding in that silence and stillness. So we have a beautiful song written by Dr. Sarada, which we sing in our class. Why do I love to dance? Because God is the movement. Why do I love to dance? Because God is the dancer true. He dances the dance of the universe without form, space or time too. Ramana says God's power is stillness ever, dancing in the heart, as I am. Ramana says God's power is stillness ever, dancing in the heart, as I am. As I am. This dance of stillness, Ramana, in the devotee's presence, Ramana used to be still and silent. But for the true devotees, for the seekers of truth who wanted answers, Ramana would silently turn towards them, and all their questions, all their worries would dissolve. So, can we say that Ramana moved? Ramana would tell it is no miracle and all. It is automatic divine activity which was happening. So, it is just like the sun which is simply shining bright. But because of the sun shining bright, there is so many things happening in the world. The water is getting evaporated and becoming clouds and pouring down as rain. The trees and plants are preparing their own food through photosynthesis. And there is light, there is clarity, there is food, there is life. Everything is happening. There's change of weather, the change of seasons. Everything is happening by the presence of the sun. But is sun affected from it? He is Achala. He is just shining as he is. But in his presence, everything is happening automatically. So that is that Tandava, which Vishwanatha Swami says, Rachitachala Tandavaya Namaha. He creates this dance of stillness. He is a creator of, he performs or he creates this dance of stillness, Achala, yet Tandava. He is doing the dance and governing all of us with his dance, and he is silently drawing us to the heart, where just like how the Parvati, who is stunned seeing the dance, here at Arunachala is completely absorbed in Arunachala, and she has become Achala herself until we reach that state. Ramana is going to play his divine dance of pulling us, by pushing us from outside and pulling us from within and making us abide in Arunachala, so that the true light of Arunachala, which is the self-luminous light, which is not dependent on any other light, shines forth as itself, as I in our heart. Until then, he is taking care and guiding us. To that Ramana, we offer our salutations. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. We continue the satsang with a sharing by Dr. Sarada. She has been meditating on the verses from Ramana Ashtottara, written by Vishwanatha Swami.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana, shining as the self in all beings. By the immense grace of the self, manifest as Ramana, we in this part of the satsang are meditating on the Ramana Ashtottaram, or the Ramana Ashtottara Shatanamavali, which is the litany of 108 names, which Vishwanatha Swami has composed in the form of a poem, and that is the Ashtottara Shatanama Stotram, and the names are separately used for worship, the 108 names, which is the Ashtottara Shatanamavali. And this Ashtottara Shatanama Stotram has been composed by Vishwanatha Swami in a biographical manner, as pointed out by Bhagavan himself, because Bhagavan told someone who asked him that I want a biography of Bhagavan. He said, Vishwanathan has written my biography in his Ashtottaram. You can have a look at that. So it is, in a sense, a biography of Bhagavan. And as is always the case in the Ashtottaram or the Trishati or the Sahasranama, it will have many epithets relating to Bhagavan. So we were meditating on the namas Paramacharya Namaha, Suprasannaya Namaha, Abhaya Pradaya Namaha, Dakshinasya Nidhaya Namaha, as one set of verses which could pertain to Ganapati Muni, who hailed Bhagavan as the supreme teacher, who surrendered to Bhagavan in the great anguish, in the great fear, if one may say, of probably not being able to find the fulfillment, the fruition of his tapasya, which was immense. So, that great anguish, which we call the bhaya, the great bhaya, Bhagavan dissolved that fear by giving him the simple, direct Upadesha, the direct teaching, after which he said, this is not an ordinary sage, he is a Maharshi and he is a world teacher, Paramacharya. I have found my Acharya, my master, my guru. He wrote to all his disciples and he found in him the Suprasanna, the joyous one. He describes in that beauty, that bliss which is coming out of Bhagavan, which Bhagavan in Aksharamanamalai says, Amudavayai tira arunmadi, chittam kulira, let the mind become cool. Kadir hastam vaithu, touch me with that light, touch me, put that hand on me, which is the hand of light. The light of what? The light of the moon. Arunmadi, he calls it. In most of the places, Bhagavan refers to Arunachala as the sun, the ocean of compassion, as Ujwal was just referring to, Karuna Purna Sudhabde, the hill, the Achala, and the sun, the radiant sun. In the Pancharatnam, he says, you are that sun, Diri Khadiral Yavum Vidungum. You are that sun which is by its spreading rays, it's actually enveloping everything. But in this verse of Aksharamanamalai, he refers to him as moon. Kadir astam vait amudavayai tira arulmadi. Arulmadi, O moon of grace. O moon of grace, may with your cool rays touch my heart. Translates Professor Swaminathan. So that coolness is the Suprasanna. And Ganapati Muni, in his verse on Bhagavan, also refers to this prasannata, this coolness, this softness, when he says, Neelaravinda Suhrida Sadrisham Prasade. You are like, your grace is like that of the friend of the blue lily, the moon. So he is Suprasanna, Bhagavan, all the time in the bliss of the self. Anyone coming to his presence must have been filled with that, because even Humphrey says small children would come, animals would come, everyone would be just enveloped in that bliss. Osborne's, I think it was Osborne's son, or perhaps it was his daughter Kitty, who wrote to Osborne before Osborne came and joined his family at Tiruvannamalai, said, there is nothing so beautiful in the world as Bhagavan's smile. So that is the Suprasannaya Namaha. And Abhayapradaya Namaha. Fear. Every moment we live in fear. Why do we come to Bhagavan? Because we are full of fear. The fear of losing all that which we desire. Desire and fear are the two sides of the coin which we call the ego, which we call the I thought. It has desire and it has fear. It has desire for some object and fear of not being able to get that object or fear of losing that object. So there is constant fear. And what does Bhagavan give to us? What does Bhagavan give to anyone? Here we can recall the story also of Ichamat, who came to Bhagavan when he was in the Virupaksha cave, having lost her husband and all her children in quick succession within a couple of years, one after the other. She was actually inconsolable. Her grief could not be assuaged by anything. Any of the pilgrimages she undertook, all the service she did to saints and sages, did not give her freedom from this sorrow. Sorrow, dukkha, is also fear. Because that is what is the darkness of the ego. One is afraid of this dukkha, but at the same time, it is very amazing that we hold on to it as well. We don't let go of our sorrow. There is some part of us which enjoys the sorrow. But when the fear becomes too much, when it becomes unbearable, then we turn to Bhagavan for succor and he says, Abhayam, Abhayam. And Echamal came to Bhagavan and sat in his presence with her grief pouring out in the form of tears. And then the entire grief melted and silence remained. And that silence is Abhayam. Abhaya Pradaya Namaha. It gives us that state in which there is no fear. Because Bhagavan himself had reached that state of fearlessness by crossing over the greatest fear. So we have also some amusing incidents pertaining to fear which happened in Virupaksha cave. One was when a tiger came and Vasudeva Shastri and some other devotees were there. A tiger approached the Virupaksha cave and not heeding the fact that Bhagavan himself was seated outside, the devotees quickly went into the cave and latched the iron grill that was a gate to the cave entrance. And from inside, they started threatening the tiger. Oh, tiger, wait and see what we will do to you. But Bhagavan was outside, seated outside. So that fear which made them respond in that manner immediately. Bhagavan said, what is there to fear? As the tiger came, the tiger will go. There was another time when a tigress came and gave a roar when Bhagavan was seated along with the devotees inside the cave. He told them, nothing to worry. She is informing us that she has come to drink water. And after some time, one more roar she gave. He said, she is informing us she has finished drinking water and she is going. Another time was there when he saw a leopard and a cheetah coming, one from above the hill, one from below the hill. They met in one valley and he said, they sported together for a little time and then they went away. He said, I knew they'd go. It's okay. Or there was a time when there used to be this cobra which used to come almost every day and it used to slither even on his body. And when Bhagavan was asked, is it not fearful? Then Bhagavan said, what is there to fear? He comes. What does it feel? They asked him. It feels cool and soft. But you know, when he comes near my feet, sometimes it is ticklish. So, depicting this incident, Rajkumar Bharati has composed a song on the fearlessness of Bhagavan. Achamillai Ramana, Achamillai, Achamembade, Unakkillai. Why? Ichayillai Ramana, Ichayillai, Achamum, Ichayum, Jnanikkillai, Achamum, Ichayum, Jnanikkillai. You don't have any fear, O Ramana, because you don't have any desire. He's written this song, Bhayavilla Ramana Bhayavilla. So since he has crossed the boundary of fear, he is Abhaya Pradaya Namah. And he is Dakshinasya Nibhaya Namaha, the one who is facing south, Dakshinamurti. Last time we remembered how the Muni has composed for us the prayer Dakshinamurti Saram Shankaracharya Madhyamam Ramanacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara Dakshinasya Nibhaya Namaha. By Bhagavan's grace, we will meditate on that and the further namas in satsangs to come. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri.
Namo Ramana. We will continue the satsang with the chanting of a few verses from Arunachala Aksharamanamalai by Kumari Revathi Sankar. That will be followed by the Ashtottara puja to Bhagavan at Sri Dileep Simhaji's altar, and the chanting of the Ashtottaram will be by Vaibhavji, Prarthana and Uma Sripathy, and the Arati song. We have the Arunachala Aksharamanamalai by Revathi Sankar and Ashtottara puja to Bhagavan.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Omkara Porulo Puyarvilloi Unayararivar Arunachala. Auvai pol எனக்குன் அருளை தந்தனை ஆளுவதும் கடன் அருணாச்சலா. கண்ணுக்கு கண்ணாய் கண்ணின்றி காணுனை காணுவதேவர் பார் அருணாச்சலா. காந்தம் இரும்பு போல் கவர்ந்தென்னை விடாமல் கலந்தென்னோடிருப்பாய் அருணாச்சலா. கிரியுருவாகிய கிருப்பை கடலே கிருப்பை கூர்ந்தருள்வாய் அருணாச்சலா. கீழ்மேலெங்கும் கிளரொளி மணியன் கீழ்மையை பால் செய் அருணாச்சலா. குற்றமுற்றறுத்தென்னை குணமாய் பணித்தாள் குருவாய் ஒளிர் அருணாச்சலா. கூர்வாட்கண்ணியர் கொடுமையிற்படாதருள் கூர்ந்தென்னை சேர்ந்தருள் அருணாச்சலா. கெஞ்சியும் வஞ்சியாய் கொஞ்சமும் இறங்கிலை அஞ்சலென்றே அருள் அருணாச்சலா. கேளாதளிக்கும் கேடில் புகழை கேடு செய்யாதருள் அருணாச்சலா. கையினிற்கனியுன் மெய்ரசம் கொண்டு உவகை வெறிக்கொளருள் அருணாச்சலா. கொடியிட்டடியரை கொல்லுனை கட்டி கொண்டெங்கன் வாழ்வேன் அருணாச்சலா. अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला 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 अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला नमो रमण
नमो
रमण भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि ॐ महासेन महोंसेन जाताय नमः ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ अखण्ड संविदाकाराय नमः ॐ महौजसे नमः ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लुब्धविद्योदयाय नमः ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः ॐ तीव्राय नमः ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः ॐ तपोमयाय नमः ॐ उदासीनाय नमः ॐ महायोगिने नमः ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसम्भ्रमाय नमः ॐ सुसन्द्रशे नमः ॐ सवित्रे नमः ॐ स्थिराय नमः ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः ॐ चन्द्रिकासितः श्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः ॐ उद्दिक्तनयनाय नमः ॐ पूर्णाय नमः ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः ॐ गम्भीराय नमः ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः ॐ धीराय नमः ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः ॐ स्वराजे नमः ॐ महर्षये नमः ॐ भगवते नमः ॐ ईड्याय नमः
ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः ॐ विमलाय नमः ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः ॐ आप्ताय नमः ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः ॐ समदृशे नमः ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः ॐ सत्याय नमः ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्री शोणाचलहृद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्न संशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ मृच्छान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणात् बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसाराणवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रीशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ आर्धविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः।
ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्री अष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थाणोरणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्याजनिं प्राप्येत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाह विवशस्थादात्म्यभावं गतः गन्निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनास्येकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि दर्शन सुख मंगल मुख सकल जीवहित सम्मुख ब्रह्म संगीये सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिवानंद पुष्ट परम महर्षि ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शी नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತೆಯೇ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡು ತಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೋಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಗಿಯೇ ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ ಪ್ರಭಾವರ್ಣ नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि बोलो भगवान श्री रमण महर्षि की जय